This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Wait a minute, is that who I think it is? Yep, sure is, Kenny. It's our good friends. Come on in.
Yeah, longtime friends at that, close to 55 years. Glad to have you with us for the next 30 minutes. As always, we've got a good show for you. Straight ahead, some say it's only a matter of time before Georgia becomes the next big producer of citrus. John HOLCOMB on what UGA Extension is doing to help producers get there sooner rather than later. Also on the program, Ray with an up-close look at what USDA calls the world's oldest farmers club in continuous operation, the EUHARLEE Farmers Club of Bartow County. Plus,
well, everybody, Ranger Nick. Hey, sorry for the mess. This isn't my bedroom. I'm actually on the campus at UGA Griffin. We're talking bed bugs this month. How to know if you got them and how to do things to control them is coming up a little bit later. That and so much more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
for nearly a decade, the state of Georgia has been home to commercial citrus and continues to grow in popularity year after year, which is why it's important for growers to have the latest information so they can continue to prosper and maybe even expand their operations. Fortunately for them, UGA is currently conducting citrus trials in Lowndes County, which is where we find John HOLCOMB.
Here in this small citrus grove in Valdosta, blooms are in full swing, marking the start of the growing season. And along with it, a new year of research that will hopefully benefit the citrus industry here in Georgia. The man behind the research is Lowndes County Extension Agent Jake Price, who got the research started once citrus came to the state.
Citrus is new to Georgia. The industry is only 6 to 7 years old, where people have been growing commercial citrus. And we decided to put in a citrus rootstock trial using Wari satsumas to help support the industry. And this is our oldest trial, and we have 6 others. We have 3 on this location with Wari satsumas, tango mandarins, and sugar bells.
The research in the groves is centered around what are called rootstocks, which are the root systems of the citrus trees, and interestingly enough, are a completely different variety of tree than what's growing above ground.
Citrus trees are normally grafted onto a rootstock. And a rootstock is basically a root system of a different type of citrus that has good qualities such as disease and insect resistance and adaptations to environmental factors. And you can take the best rootstock and combine it with the variety that you want, and it'll give you the best possible tree. This trial is unique, definitely in Georgia, probably the United States, because a lot of these rootstocks have never been tested with Wari satsumas or satsumas in general. So this may be the only trial like it in the whole world, actually, on these rootstocks, because some of these rootstocks are hard to obtain outside Florida, and they're brand new. So we're using the newest rootstocks available.
In the United States, citrus is mostly grown in Florida and California, which obviously have different climates than Georgia, which is what makes this research so important, as it allows them to see what will grow best.
Citrus is normally associated with warm temperatures, but satsumas are one of the most cold-hardy citrus varieties that there are, and so that's what people have started out with mostly in Georgia. And so we want to see how cold-hardy these are, and the rootstocks can have some influence on cold hardiness. And to this point, all of our trees have survived on the different rootstocks, which is kind of surprising to me, but it's so far so good with this trial, and the other trials are looking good too.
Over the past few years, citrus has become a popular commodity to grow in Georgia, which makes the data they collect even more important, as it could help continue to grow the state's citrus industry.
Currently, there are 45 counties in Georgia that are growing commercial citrus and about 125 growers. And so that has gone from maybe 2 or 3 counties and 2 or 3 farmers to that number, so it's really growing quickly. And farmers need some information, some research-based information on what varieties will perform well here, what the rootstocks do. Some of the rootstocks can have influences on tree size, the yield efficiency of the tree. So it'll help farmers pick the best rootstock, scion, or variety combination.
Reporting in Valdosta for the Farm Monitor, I'm John HOLCOMB.
Meantime, as an essential part of the workforce, farmers and ranchers, as well as any staff, need quick and easy access to the COVID vaccine to ensure a stable food supply chain. That's why American Farm Bureau is helping to promote vaccine acceptance through the COVID-19 Community Corps. AFBF's Allison Crittenton says the goal is to make sure farmers and ranchers understand the benefits of the vaccine and have the appropriate tools to handle any issues with vaccine hesitancy or concerns.
Through our work in the COVID Community Corps, we have all kinds of messaging available to us that we plan to share with our state farm bureaus and all of our members in order to get the word out about the importance of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Farm workers and farmers are an essential part of our critical infrastructure. They never had the option to work from home, so it's important that they have access to the vaccine to ensure that they're protected while they are still going to work each day and still farming.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, spring has sprung here in Georgia, which means U-pick strawberry operations are opening up across the state. Among them, Ochlockonee Ridge Farms in Colquitt County, run by Agribusiness Person of the Year Trey Hart, who is continuing a family tradition. Damon Jones has the story.
With a farm gate value of more than $500 million every year, Colquitt County is the state's top agricultural producer and home to many of its largest agribusinesses. That's why it was such an honor for Trey Hart to win the county's Agribusiness Person of the Year, especially considering what the industry has meant to his family.
It was humbling. It was very humbling because understand, that's my family's, my community's award, because I would in no way, shape, or form be in the position I am without my parents and the groundwork that they set and just being in Colquitt County. And that's why I think it means so much to me, is because I truly love the place that I live and what it represents. Left and came back.
Even though it might not be one of the largest farms in the area, it is very diversified as they maintain a large herd of cattle, several row crops, and even a U-pick business.
Right now we have the strawberry patch going on. It's the spring of the year, and so far we've had really good participation out here, and hope that continues on. And then while that's going on, we're trying to get the cropland ready and get ready to put some cotton in the ground about the middle of next month.
While row crops and cattle have long been part of the family business, that's not the case for strawberries, as it's a relatively new addition. And after just a few years, they are now selling to schools and restaurants around the county, as well as offering fresh strawberries to the public.
My sister went to Washington Farms up in Oconee County, and that's where the idea came from. And she talked Daddy into it, and Daddy had just retired as an vo-ag teacher, and he decided he'd give it a go. And it's been pretty bumpy over the years to develop the U-pick business along with our wholesale business, and it has become a good dovetail in with the rest of our operations since we are a smaller operation.
This allows the opportunity to spread the story of agriculture to visitors, which is essential for the industry even in rural areas.
Knowing that you have enlightened them on that, hopefully they want to seek out more. Well, what else? How else does my food come from the farm and end up in the grocery store where I usually purchase it?
While his path might have always led him back to the farm, there was never really any pressure on Trey to do so. However, growing up on the farm, he developed a passion for it and desire to continue his family's operation.
The first thing I say is my father, he never pushed me into this. As a matter of fact, a lot of farmers in some ways kind of, especially a small operator, will kind of be like, son, are you sure that you want to come out here and beat your head against this wall? to know that the things you're doing are making your parents and your family proud, it's a wonderful blessing.
Reporting from Colquitt County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick. You know, by now you're probably itching to go on vacation, but when you get there, we don't want you itching. I'm going to explain how some research at UGA Griffin is helping to determine if there's a bed bug problem in that hotel room. I'll explain after this.
No matter where you live, on a farm, the city, in a condo, or house, doesn't matter. One thing we all have in common is a disdain for bed bugs. We try and avoid them at all costs. Am I right? Well, this month, Ranger Nick goes deep under the covers, so to speak, to expose bed bugs and shows us how UGA Extension is studying their every move.
All right, so I'm totally embarrassed by the mess here today in this room. I had no idea you would be stopping by. I'm only kidding. I'm on the campus of UGA Griffin and hanging out in a training facility, and I'm spending some time with a professional entomologist, Dan Suter. Dr. Suter, good to see you as
Ranger
always.
Nick.
Hey.
Good to see you, Ranger Nick.
You might remember Dr. Suter from a segment we did a couple months ago on termites, and we got back together again to talk about bed bugs.
That's right.
Listen. We've all heard the saying, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
I think about it. You study bed bugs.
We do.
Why? what are you studying?
So we have a training program here at the University of Georgia Griffin campus where we bring in pest control operators several times a year to learn about bed bugs and how to control them. So what you're looking at here is actually a mock bedroom that we do inspections for. We do mock inspections for pest control operators, and they get continuing education hours because a lot of what they deal with are bed bugs.
Okay.
So they deal with ants and roaches and termites and things like that, but a lot of them deal with bed bugs as well.
Now, let's just say, and I'm so glad you said this is not my bedroom. I totally would be embarrassed, but this is let's say this is a hotel room.
Correct,
I mean,
yeah.
I've just, look at my luggage here. I've just gotten back from a very long trip, got off the airplane. I'm in my hotel room. You all are studying bed bugs. I always hear on the news about the potential for bed bugs in a hotel room.
Yeah.
What do I do before I sit down on the bed and go to sleep? How do I know there might be a problem?
Yeah, a good practice to get into is when you open the door to your room, put your luggage in the bathroom. Usually the bathroom's right on the right. So some type of hard surface.
Okay.
Put your luggage either right inside the bathroom and then walk over to the bed. Everybody has a light, usually on their camera, or I carry a flashlight in my pocket.
Yeah, got mine.
And you go straight over to the bed before you settle in, and you look for signs of bed bugs. Sometimes you won't find the bed bug, a live bed bug, but you will find signs of the bug.
So what am I looking for? I got my light on, like I'm gonna pull this back.
So that this will be a made bed. You just pull the sheets up.
Okay.
And you'll have a mattress here, and right along this area right here is a favorite place for bed bugs. And they have, when they poop, they have little black spots, and that's partially digested blood, and that's what you're looking for. Small little black dots right along that seam right there, and that is clear sign of bed bug evidence.
So I might be on the phone with the front desk about this. I might be deciding to get another room, looking for those kind of things. What about this cover? I've stayed in places before that have a cover that's thicker than this. What can you tell me about that?
So this is what we call a bed bug encasement cover. It's a mattress cover.
Okay.
And it's like a big sock that goes on the mattress. And you only put something like this on a mattress if there has been signs of bed bugs on the mattress.
Oh boy.
So you're encasing the bed bugs inside the mattress. They can't get out. Once you put this mattress cover on there, they can't get out. So if you go into a hotel room and you find a mattress cover like this on your mattress, there's been signs of somebody has found bed bugs in that room at some point in the past.
Well, you heard it from Dr. Suter. If you go into a room and you find this on a bed, you know they've had a problem before. That's an indicator to maybe pick up your luggage and head on out there if you don't want
maybe find another room.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. What about this? I always thought this was a thing for the floor to protect it. What is this?
This is actually a bed bug
Sorry,
trap.
my shoes there.
This is actually a bed bug trap. Wow. So many pest control operators will put this trap underneath the legs of the bed or the couch or chairs or anything of that sort. What it does is it catches bed bugs in this center well right here if they're coming off the bed. They're coming from the room and coming over here, and they crawl up here, they'll get caught out here. So there's two different areas they can get caught.
Incredible.
And so a pest control company would come back and inspect those routinely and check those for bed bugs. So those will be underneath a bed if bed bugs have been found in that bedroom at some point in the past.
So we've got this as an indicator, the cover as an indicator. If we're seeing the evidence, it looks like pepper as an indicator. Dan, these are such important things to keep in mind. What I want to talk about next is, all right, if I made it through the night in my hotel room without getting bit and all that kind of stuff, and I get back home, what do I do back in my home if something did jump onto my luggage to keep them from getting in my home? And let's talk about that next. Now, this all to say, we don't want to create any undue anxiety in our folks at home thinking about, oh my gosh, were there bed bugs there? Do I have bites? What if I don't respond? This is just kind of an FYI, which I think is so interesting. Now, let's say I've arrived home. Here we are, I get home. I did learn from you, Doc, that I put my luggage on a hard surface, just like in the hotel room at the bathroom. I put it on a hard surface before I get into the house. Now, when I get there, I have heard, you told me I take my clothes out of my bag. I just so happen to have a black trash bag behind me. Magic of TV, right? I'm gonna put my clothes in this bag, and you say do what with them?
Take it straight to the dryer. So the first thing you do, when you walk in, take your clothes, your used clothes out of your luggage, put it straight in that bag and take it straight to the dryer. Put it on as hot as it will go for 30 minutes to an hour, and that will kill all the bed bugs that might be in your clothes.
Okay. And I might put this back out in the garage or back outside for a little bit, the luggage. Excellent. Now, when I'm back in my home and I'm thinking about there may be some around my bed, I want to think back about some of the things you and I were talking about before we started today, about your research. And some of the things you're learning about their behavior in a bed, in a bedroom, in a home, in a hotel room. What have you all learned about these things, these little insights?
So a couple really important points here is that bed bugs feed on blood. We know that. That's why they bite us, right? So their only food is blood. And so when they're living on a bed and you are their source of blood, they come out at nighttime. They're actually attracted to your breath. So when we're laying down and we're breathing out CO2, the bed bugs that are around in this room are attracted to that. And they will move from wherever they are. They're most active after midnight, between 1 and 5 a.m. when you're in your deepest sleep is when they're going to come and bite you.
There is so much great information to learn about this. And if you want to learn more, if you happen to think you have a bed bug in your bed or in your home, taking that little guy, putting it in a bag, taking a picture of it, giving it to your county extension agent. Doc, thanks so much for today.
Gotcha.
I all of a sudden I'm itching more and more, so I need to get out of here. Y'all, you know what to do. When you're online planning that vacation and thinking about where the bed bugs might be, check out the Farm Monitor Facebook page, see what the guys have got going on there. Check out the Ranger Nick Facebook page, see what we got going on. And until next time, as we always say, I'm Ranger Nick for the Farm Monitor, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Thanks so much for joining us this month, and we'll see you right back here again next month. See ya.
When we come back, I'll look inside one of the most exclusive clubs on the entire planet, and it's located right here in Georgia.
Finally this week, few organizations have stood the test of time like the UHARLEE Farmers Club in Bartow County. Its origin dates back to 1883 and its membership very exclusive. So much so that in order to even be considered for membership, a farmer must first meet certain criteria and be invited to join. Kay farms on a Friday afternoon. As Dustin Kay walks the field with a friend, Father Darrell is preparing for his special guests. You see, one of the obligations of being in the UHARLEE Farmers Club is that every so often you host the monthly meeting. Today, it was Darrell's turn in the rotation, something he was happy to do. In fact, Darrell still remembers the moment he got the call telling him he was in.
It was real good. like a member, he'll recommend it to the club, and then the club will discuss it, and then they'll come back and they'll ask me, did I want to be in it? And I said, yes. I accepted it, and I was very thrilled to. Always kind of wanted to be in it.
And so one by one, they began to arrive. Some traveling from as far away as the other side of the county. Jim Raines, owner of Possum Trot Farms, traveled 45 minutes and said he wouldn't miss this day for anything. In addition to being a longtime member, Jim, you might say, is the club historian. And in this little black book, tells the story of generations past.
These clubs were started all over the United States. They were encouraged to be started to form where farmers could learn from one another how they were farming and take this information back to their own farms and try to increase their production, make a better crop, better quality animals, and improve their livelihoods.
Tom Smith, Lee Neal, Ricky Woods, and David Holt.
12 full-time members and 7 honorary members. That's it. That is the entire makeup of the UHARLEE Farmers Club, and that has never changed in the club's 137-year history. Neither have the standards. First, you must be a farmer and live in Bartow County. You must also be an innovative thinker. And if a member leaves, their replacement must be voted in by a 2/3 vote. Although Jim does admit it works in your favor to be a legacy.
My father was a member, and we have several that are members. There's one member that goes back all the way to the beginning of the club. I don't know that they claim kin, but they've been so far back they can't even trace the lineage.
Sure, over the years there have been many imitators, but few will ever come even remotely close to achieving the longevity of the UHARLEE Farmers Club. Back in the mid-90s, the Georgia Senate declared the group, quote, the oldest meeting organization in continuous existence in the United States. USDA, meantime, calls them the oldest farmers club in continuous operation in the world.
We have a gun safe that's full of minutes from the beginning, and we keep these under wraps. Anybody challenges us, we were challenged a few years ago, wasn't even close. It's hard to believe. It's really, really hard to believe that we're lucky enough to be one of the 12. It gives you a lot of pride. For us to be the one that is still standing is just phenomenal, and we say we're not going to be the one that turns out the light. We're determined to keep this club going. It's a real desire. We're not going to lower our standards or anything, but we're going to keep this club going. I can see down the road that there are going to be people that raise vegetables that's going to be a member of the UHARLEE Farmers Club. They're going to be beekeepers, or they're going to be something a little different from cotton farmers and corn farmers. We can want to hold on to the past that way, but I don't think it's realistic. I think you got to look at things realistic.
Yeah, quite an honor to hang with those gentlemen. Hey, before we send you on your way, a friendly reminder that for all the latest ag news regarding food, recipes, and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure you check out all of our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of agriculture and with us right here at the show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.